Hello and welcome to DotNetRewired. In this video, I'm going to teach you guys some things about JavaScript that you need to know when you need to convert your legacy ASP.NET Forms application to .NET Core. This is a common area that I see when I work with people that want to do these conversions. They realize how much JavaScript is really required and what you need and the fundamental knowledge of JavaScript you need to know to do these conversions correctly. And some companies tend to just not do them anymore, but today I'm here to show you basically what you need to know and how you achieve some of the similar things that you would in web forms as you do in an MVC application. This is videos mainly for people that are kind of just want to get started and see what is involved in doing one of these conversions. Okay, so right here I have a Web Forms application. Now this is just the basic template. There's really no customizations or any packages installed, and this is pretty generic out of the box. On this page here, I just updated one of the default pages, and I have on this page a just a drop-down list with some color values in it, and then I have these this color preview box thing that you will see that the color changes when we select a color from the drop-down list. So let's just run this application now just to show you what it would look like. I'm just going to bring the window over here so it's a little easier to see. So as you can see, this is not stylized or anything. It's really just using the template. But we have a drop-down list up here, and then we have a preview down here. So if I select any of the colors here, it just turns that that red. And then if I choose the green one, it would turn to green. And then if I choose the topmost value, it would just bring it back to the default. Now this is all fine and everything. It works really well. But the thing is, when you move away from this technology, you move into the area of JavaScript, because this is all happening on the server. This is making a server postback and then the server run value. And if we pop into the code behind here, you can see that this is what it does. Like I said, this is a postback, and I just get to select the color from the drop-down list that we selected, and then I just use some CSS in the C# code to set the color value. This is C# any link in here. This is just basic CSS values. So you can see how it all works. And there's really no need for validation in this. I will cover validation in other videos, but for right now, this is a pretty basic example. So if I was going to convert this application to MVC Core, there's really not much in terms of the HTML structure that I would change. Everything is going to basically be the same, but we're going to use the newer syntax. The other thing that won't be there is the auto postback, because you won't be using it. You'll be using JavaScript. And then the onSelect index change method doesn't exist anymore, since we're not working with any event handlers in the C# side. So I have another project set up here that basically is the equivalent of this. So basically, this is just a regular MVC Core application. Really no customizations to it again. The only thing that I've added is I've added a color picker controller method that returns a view. And inside this view, it's pretty much the same stuff. The view data and the title is basically what gets displayed up in the browser. We'll talk about how you can use this to store other data later, but this is just what I chose to do for now. We created our drop-down list, but as you can see, this is kind of like C# code. And basically, there's an object in there called select a list item, and then it takes in a couple of parameters here. You can specify in the view, which I did here for simplicity. And then we have our label, and then we have our color picker. Now this is just a select element, just a regular HTML select. And the way I populate this is normally, in some advanced cases, you would probably get that data from a database, and you would do that in the controller method, and we'll do that later in other examples. But for right now, I'm just getting it from this inline list that I've created here. And then I loop through these, and then I set the value to the color value, and then the text of the color to just give it some, just to let you know where it is. And then here is my preview window, and I gave it some CSS to kind of make it look the same. And then here's the JavaScript. Now, there's a couple different ways you can go with this. You can go and do it with jQuery if you would like. I still use jQuery in a side project I'm working on, so don't be afraid to use that if you're just starting out or don't really know too much JavaScript. It really does help simplify things. But in this case, I did native JavaScript. So basically, I got the element by ID, which is color picker, and you can see that here. And then I have some event listeners to change for on change, which is this select box right here. So it's the color picker selects here. So I have some event handlers here that listen for when that value is changed. I get to select the color again, and then I get my box, and then I set the color accordingly. So let's just see how this would look in this browser. So let me make this a little bigger. And then here is the color picker link I added here to the top. And it looks a little bit different because we're using a different version of Bootstrap, but the functionality is pretty much the same. If I select the color from this here, it changes the color. I can do purple, I can do orange, and I can do red. And you're probably asking me, what's the benefit of this? Well, this is just a much more modern type of application. It doesn't go to the server every time it posts back, and sometimes you'll see in Web Forms application that the page will flicker and other things will happen on the screen. Sometimes you might lose value. Sometimes you have to write some code in the load method to check if it's a post back. You don't have to really do that anymore because everything's really handled on the client. So no going out to a server and re-rendering parts of the page. It's all client side, which is very handy. And then you can also, like we're talking about here, we can only re-render the portion of the page that is has changed. So that's basically about it. This is basically how you would get started. This is how you would do things like button clicks and stuff like that, because you would just add more elements with more event handlers. And if you're jQuery, you would use on-click events. And you would just do more stuff accordingly depending on what your use case is. I hope you find this video helpful, and I will see you guys in the next video.